How you doing, Ram fans? And welcome to another edition of Meet the Rams, Drive in the Lane. As always, I'm James McBride, your sports information director at Wesleyan. Sitting to my side here is the head coach of women's basketball, Scott Hyland. We've got a lot we're going to get into this week. It's the push in the last 4 games of the season for the Rams. Scott, thanks for joining us today. Yep. First thing I want to lead off with you here is something we talked about to the men's coach, Brendan Shingleton, last week. We talked about how grueling this last road trip was for you up there to play in Oklahoma Panhandle and, of course, at Wayland. You just want to talk about your experience being the first time going on that trip?
Well, it's been, I've a couple other places that I've been over the years. We've made trips out there, and one, it's a long drive. The air's a little drier, so again, it's just water tastes a little different, so it's always a little bit different. One of the hardest things to adjust to is the officiating seems to always be a little bit different, and we didn't do ourselves any favors, at Wayland. I thought first quarter we played some of our best basketball. Some things kind of changed in terms of how some things went, and what was and wasn't being called, and we just weren't able to adjust very well. And then once they kind of got on a roll, it just kind of got away from us. But I thought we bounced back really well. 2 days later out at Panhandle, again, played some very good basketball at times. We've still got some things we got to clean up, but overall, getting a split was very beneficial for us. Got us back on the winning track, and hopefully, again, something we can continue that, work off that momentum and carry us into the conference tournament.
Now, Coach, we're going into the last 4 games we have of the year. Of course, we've got the lucky side. You've got 3 here at home. You've got the 1 left on the road that's going to the first place John Brown Eagles. Yep. Golden Eagles going to be there. Also, too, you've got the second place team in Langston Lions coming in here. Then you're going to end the season against Central Christian. But, of course, the game I want to talk about first is the game you're going to have on Thursday against Oklahoma City. You and Oklahoma City are kind of battling out for that 8th spot in the playoff rankings. You just want to talk about what you see with the Stars.
Sure. They've had a lot of adversity this year with some injuries and some players leaving the program. So their roster is a bit depleted. Was when we went out there and played them a couple of weeks ago, 3-4 weeks ago, I guess it's been now. When we were out there, we at their place, again, played very well, had a really, really good second and third quarter, opened up an 18-point lead, and then they were able to scrap back and actually they had a chance to beat us. It's something that I think we've, again, hopefully have learned a valuable lesson that no lead is ever, too safe. And again, I think some of that showed in the Panhandle game when they made a run. We, were calm and answered the call and stepped up and made some really big plays on offense as well as defense. So, it'll be a big one. A win for us clinches a conference tournament berth. Being at home, again, I think gives us a tremendous advantage. As we've been, like I said, playing much, much better basketball, and hopefully that'll come out on Thursday.
Now, this is a question also I posed to Brendan in the last show because they're kind of in the same situation you are down there at the bottom of the barrel. Is there one opponent you'd rather have over the other one, or are they both formidable opponents
for the conference tournament?
Conference tournament.
As odd as it may seem, I feel like John Brown's a better matchup for us than a Langston or a Wayland Baptist, who would be, in that 2-3 slot. Both Wayland and Langston are much more physical, a little bit more athletic. Those teams have given us a little bit of trouble. They both have an inside presence, which again has given us trouble as we've taken on some injuries. John Brown, when we played him here, we're actually one of 3 teams this season that's held them under 60 points, all year, and we didn't necessarily shoot the ball that well. I think offensively we're executing a lot better now. Some things that we may hold back on Saturday and not show. Some things that we're kind of keeping in our back pocket for that conference tournament, some little tweaks, and we'll just see how it goes. But first things first, we got to get the win Thursday. Take care of business, and let's get in. And like I said, the key for us is just keep getting better, these last 4 games and ride some of that momentum going into the conference tournament.
Now, I know we've talked quite a bit about what your expectations are for your team and everything. Now that you're coming close to the end of your first season here at Wesleyan, do you think you hit your goals, or do you think there's still things that you need to work on?
Well, basketball seasons are a funny thing. I mean, they tend to take on a life all their own with so many different twists and turns and plots and whatnot. We've been hit hard by injuries. We lost 2 key players before the season even started that really hurt. We lose our leading scorer, leading rebounder at semester. We lose Kayla Fuller to an ACL a couple weeks ago, which, again, was a huge hit. And so, in terms of goals, our goal right now is, like I said, just let's keep getting better. There's a lot of things that we can't control. What we can control is our work ethic every day, our execution of what we do, and the enthusiasm we bring. And so, that's what we're just trying to focus on right now is what do we need to do to get better today? What do we need to do to get prepared, to win that next game?
And one thing we're going to be doing in the next segment is we're going to bring in senior number 14, Mary Nyakundi, to talk to us. Coach, if you could, just talk about this senior class and what they've been able to do for you.
Anytime there's a coaching change, it's difficult. I can relate. Going into my senior year, we had a new coach, my senior year. It ended up working out really well for me in that I ended up, playing for him for 3 years. He was the best man at my wedding. And so it was a great fit for me, with him coming in. Different personalities and different, philosophies and whatnot can always be a little bit of a struggle. And I feel like, the 3 seniors that were here when I got the job have done a very good job of adapting to what it is we're trying to do. Have adapted well to the changes that we've had to make, as I mentioned, due to the injuries and some other factors. And so, Mary's been one that her game has progressively gotten better and better. Her shooting has really, made great strides over the course of the year. Shooting now around 34-35%, I think, from 3 in conference play. It's been a joy working with all 3 of them, and we've still got some unfinished business, to take care of, and we're going to keep grinding it out with them, and they're going to keep working and getting better and better as well.
Now, before we bring Mary in, I want to ask you, and you don't have to answer this question if you want to, do you want to make any predictions going down the road on these last 4 games?
Prediction-wise, I think we'll do what we need to get into the conference tournament. We're going to continue to make some improvements. As I said, we've tweaked some things that I think will help us, down the road. Once you get into March, anything can happen. And that's, the goal right now is take care of business. Let's get into the conference tournament. Let's, be peaking, at the right time, which I think we're moving towards. And let's see what happens.
So I guess it would be safe to say a mid-range goal would be for you to try to make it back here for the semifinals.
Absolutely. And as I said, for us, I think, that 8th seed and getting number 1 John Brown is really a good fit for us. It gives us a good opportunity. Again, they're a great team, senior led with some very, very good players. But it's again, I think, a good fit for us. And again, we'll see. We've got them on Saturday. Be a prelude to what's to come. Let's see what happens.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
All right.
After the commercial, we're going to bring in number 14, Mary Nyakundi.
Serving Fort Worth and surrounding areas for over 40-plus years, welcome to Moritz Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, located at 9101 Camp Bowie West Boulevard, Suite 2 in Fort Worth, Texas. Our commitment to our customers continues well beyond the date of purchase. Pre-order or browse vehicles 24/7 by visiting us online or schedule service 6 days a week at any one of our locations. Browse our quality lineup of pre-owned vehicles in person or online at moritz-chrysler.com.
How you doing, Ram fans? And welcome back to the back half of Meet the Rams, Driving the Lane. Joining us on the set right now is number 14, senior Mary Nyakundi. Mary, why don't you introduce yourself out there to Ram Nation for the people that might not know you?
My name's Mary. I've been here 3 years. I'm I am a biology major, so I want to pursue medicine in my future. I'm also Kenyan, so that's just like a little bit about me, I guess.
Okay. And then, of course, you said you've been here for 3 years now. You were here when Bernita Jackson was here, and now you're here when Scott Hyland is here. What in your 3 years here is something that you've learned about teamwork that's helped you be a better team player?
Teamwork. I want to say that, like, you have to know your personnel and understand that there's different people on the team coming from different backgrounds. So just like knowing and adapting to those people will make you just like a better player overall and help the team at the end.
Okay. And then now, of course, I guess you heard us because you were sitting over there off stage. We talked about the games that you have coming up. What are some of your things you see with Oklahoma City coming up?
Oklahoma City, they have some really good players coming in. I know they've suffered a few injuries, but of course we can't undermine any team that comes. It's a SAC conference, so we know this is one of the top conferences. But we have to come ready to play and handle business, and we should be up.
Now, another thing that we talked about was y'all battling for the 7th or 8th spot in the rankings to get into the tournament. Is there a preference you have as a team you would like to play going forward?
I would actually agree with Coach on this one. I actually like playing John Brown. I do agree that they're a better matchup for our team specifically. But, yeah, specifically matchup-wise, I think they're a good match.
And then, of course, basketball, sports, athletics in any context, it's kind of a stressful environment that you're in there. What does Mary do to deal with stress in her off time?
In my off time, I like listening to worship music, and I like just digressing, like looking at sunsets and just talking to my family and my close friends. I feel like that calms me and like makes me focus on everything else.
So in your 3 years here, the other question I want to ask you is, what would you say is your personal highlight, and what is the team highlight of everything that you've gone through?
Throughout my 3 years, I want to say winning the conference was my biggest personal highlight. Team highlight, it just depends on the season. Like, yeah.
But one's got to weigh out more than the other one, or are they both the same? Or all three the same, I guess I should say now, since this one hadn't been completed.
I want to say all three of them are the same in their different ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Scott, I'm going to bring you in here to talk a little bit. You just want to talk about Mary and what she brings to the team from your aspects.
Sure. You know, she's, as she mentioned, as a biology major, you've got to have a little bit above the shoulders in terms of knowledge and smarts, and she's very intelligent, very well spoken. Presents herself really, really well. You know, as I mentioned earlier, you know, the challenges of a new coach coming in with a new philosophy is always a difficult thing. And I think she's really handled it well. She's handled me very well, we'll put it that way. She's just gotten better and better, you know, as the season has gone on, and I think that the maturity that she carries with her has really helped her overcome a lot of the adversity that we've had, and really, you know, again, allowed her to continue to get better and better, and I just, you know, again, I just think still there's a lot left that she has, and we're going to get a chance to see it in these, hopefully, more than 4 or 5 games. But no, it's been really an enjoyable experience watching her grow and develop over the course of the season.
And Mary, you talked about you're a biology major. You want to get into medicine. Have you applied for medical school yet, or what is the goal here when you leave Wesleyan?
I have not applied yet, but simply because I haven't taken the MCAT yet. But once I'm ready and finished studying for the MCAT, I will apply.
Okay, great. Scott, Mary, I want to thank y'all for coming on. Sports Information Director James McBride here. For everybody else, until next time we see you, Rams up.